Hi YouTube, Spiruna here. I'm on an uploading spree today. Making up for lost time, I suppose. A lot to say. So, today's video, as you well know, if you're watching this in real time, and by real time I mean relatively soon after I upload this, it is December. And we know what December is. It's holiday month. A lot of holidays are happening. And, at the end of last month, we had Thanksgiving, at least here in the U.S. And, does Canada have those in? I don't remember if Canada has theirs in November, too. I know it's earlier than ours. I don't remember. If you're Canadian, let me know. I dated a Canadian for like 7.5 years, but he was a jackass, so I don't remember. I put a lot of that out of my mind, so I don't fully remember. And, not all of you are jackasses, so educate me, please. But, family time. That is the topic here. We as spiritualists, we are sensitive to energy. We are very sensitive to it. And if you're an empath, like yours truly, you are very, very sensitive to energy. Holidays can be a shit time for you for that reason. Now, to me, holidays, they're lovely times. I enjoy them for what they are, for the meaning of them. And I like to look at holidays as a time to spend with family, my Sabbats, and my various Wheel of the Year sorts of things that I recognize, whatever I do recognize. Times to reflect with ancestors and my spirits and start new things, bring things to a close, all sorts of things. So there's two sides of it. But for the sake of the muggles of the universe and those who are more mainstream and don't really dabble with all this and everything else, we celebrate things like Christmas and Thanksgiving, stuff like that. Or if you're Jewish, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, otherwise, or plenty of other things. Sort of like the main ones that I think of around this time that I, top of my head, I know of. The biggies. But we know Christmas is heavily commercialized. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, is it commercialized. And, I could get into a whole rant about how Christians stole freaking paganism and made it into Christmas and everything. I could do that. I'm not going to do that for this video, because if you're pagan and you've done some homework or you've done some reading, you probably know that already. That a lot of the traditions that are surrounding Christmas are pagan. They're ours. But that's not about this. What this is about is the energy and stress that surrounds this whole lovely whirlwind of a time. So, a lot of times, we tend to see each other, family and stuff. We see family and people, we see family and people, and we get the sniffles, because I have the sniffles around this time, because it's cold and stuff, but we see family around this time, and a lot of times it's family I haven't seen a lot over the year. And sometimes, a lot of times, we have family that, isn't really the greatest, and ones that tend to like to argue a lot, or they want to fight about things like politics, or maybe they're not really that nice to you. Maybe they're an asshole. Maybe they don't like the fact that you're pagan. Maybe you got a gay cousin, or maybe you're the gay cousin and someone doesn't like that. Who knows? I mean, there could be myriad of reasons why things can get snippy. Maybe your Uncle Joe drank too much and drinks too much too often and gets riled up and is a freaking obnoxious drunk. I don't know. Maybe you have an Uncle Mike that likes to pick fights with somebody. I don't know. I'm pulling these names out of my ass, but bottom line, there are people that can get judgy, get mean, get really nasty, and a lot of tension. And that's not all. It's not just your, like, snippy relatives to deal with, or judgmental friends, if you want to call them friends, acquaintances, people you have to put up with. But there's also the overall energy around this time period. Let's take a look at how we see this whole thing. I'm going to use the term Christmas, even as a pretty black witch myself. Hail Satan. I'm going to use that because we see this as like the most commercialized holiday. And especially now, I mean, there's tons and tons of advertisements and coupons, and this is the big business sort of month for a lot of things. Christmas music laden and Christmas themed laden advertisements everywhere. It's commercialized. It's very, very away from just celebrating the birth of Christ as the Christians would have you think. It's more about buying shit. And you have people that, are expecting presents. It's finding a lot of fucking money. And you have your bratty kids that want, like, the newest iPhone or the newest whatever, new gaming systems, new AirPods, new whatever the fuck. I don't keep up with a lot of that shit because I can't afford a lot of that shit. And I think it's kind of pointless. There's some technology things that I will go for. I like video games myself, so video games are nice. But I don't go crazy with it either. But anyway, it's not about my video game fascination. This is about the idea that there are some entitled brats out there, entitled gremlin children that will scream if they don't get what they want, and it costs $1 million fucking dollars. And that's stressful. There's also the obligation feeling of you have to get somebody a present, or you have to do this, you have to do that. It's expected of you to do that. So there's an overall buzz of this pressure, judgmental, sort of like obligatory energy through this time. And I think all of us, as we get older, we come away from the magic of Christmas, so to speak. And we start to notice that as we become adults. Because now it's no longer about us. It's about the kids and buying shit and everything else and planning things and all sorts of things. But we also realize how much obligation is around this and how much surrounds this stuff. And it rather sucks. For me, as an adult, I don't have any kids yet, if ever. Oh God, me as a mother. That's a different topic, my friends. A different topic. But, I don't have any kids. I'm not married. I have a boyfriend. I'm not married. And I don't worry about planning gatherings or anything like that. But the obligation of buying people things has become so much more apparent to me as I've gotten older. The obligation of, will they like this? Will they appreciate this? Will they use this? Will they get mad at me for this reason, XYZ? And all sorts of other things. The magic is dead for me when it comes to Christmas in those kinds of ways. I like spending it with family. And I have a video that I posted last year is why I still celebrate Christmas. Because, yeah, it's weird. I'm like the least Christian person in a room at any given time. Usually, unless there's other satanic and demonic practitioners. In other words, hail Satan. Anyway, my brothers and sisters. But usually I'm the least Christian person in the room, but I still celebrate Christmas because of family and because it's, so that's how I grew up. And I don't look at it as the birth of Christ. I look at it as family time and time for giving and receiving things and stuff. But there's really not much magic that surrounds it much anymore. I like Christmas lights and stuff because they're shiny and they're pretty and people put effort into them. But, it's not really doing it for me anymore. So it's very easy for me to get stressed out or fall into a depression or something or whatever else around this time. And it's even easier for other people to fall into that because everyone's life is different. I mean, take the situation I'm in currently. My grandfather he's dying. And I don't know if he will make it to his 85th, which is in January. And he could pass away at any time. And it's always hard when someone passes away before a holiday. I mean, was it 7 years ago on the 1st of December, my grandmother died. And it was such a hard Christmas without her. I mean, it was really hard. I mean, the first holiday without somebody is really hard anyway. But it's even harder, like, when it's right there. Or, by the gods forbid, it's on a holiday. Like, I remember my mom told me about this one nurse that was at one of her doctor's offices. And they were regrouping and everything. It's been a while since they'd seen each other. And she was coming in for an appointment. And they were asking how are you? What's new? And she had said that her son committed suicide on Christmas. Hung himself. And I can't imagine that. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this part of things is because that adds another layer. There's grief. There's pain. Not just stress. Not just a sense of obligation that I have to buy some whiny brat an iPhone. I don't hate kids, by the way. I mean, they scream a lot. I want to give them back, but I like kids. They're nice. And they're nice to, like, play ball with and stuff. And everyone should embrace their inner child every now and then. But I like to give them back when at the end of the day, if I'm babysitting or something, it's nice to give them back. Because I'm not ready for kids yet. I don't hate kids. I just wanted to throw that out there. But there are some brats out there, though. I'm not even going to, sugarcoat that. There are some massive brats out there. Boy. Anyway, there's a reason why I started calling them gremlins. But anyone under 10, gremlins, in my opinion. But it's more than just that. There's grief. There's pain. And there's a lot of sadness. And there's people that are alone as well. Loneliness. Soldiers that can't come home. People get stuck in places with weather and all sorts of shit, and long distance friendships, relationships, family relationships, and all sorts of stuff. It's a sad time for some people. And the whole point, and I've talked to you for almost 14 minutes describing all this stuff, is because you don't have to suffer as much as you might think you do. There are ways to help to protect yourself from that kind of energy. And shielding in ways can really help you do that. Carrying certain kinds of crystals, especially if you're an empath, can do that too. Keeping grounded is very important around this time. Keeping grounded is extremely important. Do not let yourself get up in the clouds and get overwhelmed too much. If you feel yourself doing that, don't hesitate to try and regroup. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'm not exempt from this. All of us do this. I'd be amazed if someone came to say that none of this happens for them, ever. I mean, yeah, some years are better than others. And, this time period is not all just, terrible either. It can be a really great time. I mean, despite what you may think, I do like this time of year. But it also has a lot of cons to it. There are pros and cons to everything on the planet, and this is one of those things. It is not exempt from that. But protecting your energy around this time is very important. Now, not only that, but you can use your magic and your ability to manipulate that energy to keep things nice and happy. And don't just kind of let it pass you by. Not only can you keep yourself feeling good, but when you get good at being able to manipulate energy and enchanting things and realizing that there is magic everywhere, especially like if say you're hosting a thing or a dinner party or a Christmas party or something. All right, a holiday party. Okay, for us pagans, a solstice party. You're hosting the solstice party this year, and everyone's coming for the big feast and everything. So don't forget that there is a whole realm of witchcraft in that meal. Kitchen witchcraft is not something you want to forget about. You can also use decorations in that kind of way. I saw a really cool article about this based around Thanksgiving, and I could probably find the article somewhere. I don't remember like the link or the actual website for it, but I saw some examples of that there. And you could get very creative with this, and this works for any time. But I think we should remember this big time for now, because from my opinion, I think Christmas can be worse than Thanksgiving. Even though, like, you're seeing all your relatives on Thanksgiving too, usually. But Christmas is more of a huge collected energy kind of a thing, since there's a lot more factors that can come into that. I mean, you don't have to get people Thanksgiving presents. It's just food. So, and it's not quite as commercialized. I mean, it still is, but it's not quite as commercialized as Christmas is. And that takes away some of that collected stress. Maybe you get more that's, oh, it's coming, so that's around there, like the anticipatory stress of the holidays really sitting in. But you can get creative with these types of things. Like, not only do you have to like protect yourself, but if you want to give that protection and that kind of peace to others, you can do that in subtle but effective ways. Having different decorations out, sigils hidden in plain sight, perhaps, or hidden out of sight but still present. You could do these types of things while you're making the food, while you're stirring. Say you're stirring the gravy or something, I don't know, whatever you made, and you're stirring it, you're whisking it and everything, because you're making the homemade gravy and not using the jar stuff, because it's special. And you have a sigil, or you're using a pentagram or a pentacle, or a sigil of a spirit that is protective, or can offer some sort of bounty of peace or something with all of this. You can, with your spoon or your whisk, whatever you're using, is to draw that in there and focus on that intention. You can use so many different techniques to help to eliminate some of that extra stress. And some of the stress you're not going to be able to get around, because that's just life. But these are some precautions you can take so you don't have to suffer as much around this time. If you do suffer, everyone's different. Like I said, I'd be shocked to hear that somebody that never goes through anything like this around Christmas, that's not like a kid or like a young person, like a super young person. But we adults, we go through things, and we see things differently than kids do. And it's kind of our job to make it good for the kids, essentially. So keep them away from all that stuff, but we have to bear the burden. And for some it's worse than others. And I just want anyone who watches this video to have a good holiday. Whatever you celebrate. I don't care what it is. But I want you to have a good holiday. And I want you to be happy around this time as much as you can. And spreading happiness is good. Because the more people that are happy, the less you have that are spreading negativity. And that's the less negativity that you have to deal with, that others have to deal with, and that gets collected in the whole scheme of this whole time period. So you can do things and holding talismans with you to help keep you balanced. You can even do this with the giving gifts. Enchant your gifts. Now, there's another side to gift giving that can get a little hairy when we come to people that we do not like. So you could give them a little extra special present if you catch my baneful suggestion there. But so it goes both ways, causing discord instead of peace. But you can, use that sort of thing to your advantage. Say you're wrapping presents and you want to use knot magic on tying the bow or something, or hide a sneaky sigil somewhere in there, like under the label or something, if you can manage that. Like draw it on the wrapping paper and then stick a label over it so no one sees. No one will find it that way. Or something else, just to offer a little bit of peace or a little bit of mellowness if the person is extremely hyperactive or stressed or zonked or whatever. So you can do a lot of different things with this. And this is my long-winded version of suggestions for this, since the holidays are a huge thing. And I want to let you know that I'm thinking about all of you when I'm making this, because I don't know what all of you are going through. Each and every one of you subscribers is important to me. And I appreciate you. And I want you to be able to be happy and be at peace. And I'm hoping this helps you in some way. There's many more things you can do. But these are some examples. Like, magic is everywhere. It's at your fingertips. It's in your mind. It's in your heart. And it's around you. We are made of magic. And I don't want you to forget that during this time period, no matter how stressed out you get. I'm going to stop talking now. I have, talked your ear off with this. But I'm a Gemini. What do you expect? I'm a Gemini with a device that's not going to cut me off anymore. What do you expect? But thank you. If you stayed for this whole thing, you're amazing. Thank you. And I really, really hope that you benefited from this. So, what do you celebrate? Do you celebrate anything in specific around this time period? And if so, what do you do to celebrate it? I would love to hear about it in the comments. It would be really, really nice if you told me about that. I'd appreciate that. It's good stuff. So, you have a lovely day, evening, afternoon, whenever you are watching this. And blessed be. Hail Satan. And have a lovely holiday, whatever you are celebrating. So, peace to you.